You're listening to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, episode 369. Hey there, you amazing human, and welcome to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, the podcast that is designed for female entrepreneurs who want to make more money in a way that is in alignment for them. If you're looking for practical advice, proven strategies, and expert insights to help you navigate the challenges of growing your business, then you've come to the right place. Welcome, my friend. I am your host, Angela Henderson, a proud Canadian living in beautiful Australia, and I'm a business coach, consultant, and strategist who has helped thousands of women around the world build successful businesses. Through solo episodes and interviews with successful business owners, industry experts, and thought leaders, you'll get insider insights into what it takes to succeed in today's digital age. Whether you're struggling to scale your business, looking for ways to boost your productivity, or seeking ways to overcome the challenges of being an entrepreneur, this show has everything you need to succeed and more. So subscribe, pop your headphones on, and get ready to creating the business and life you deserve today by allowing the Angela Henderson Online Business Show help you create a winning strategy, develop the right mindset, and build lasting wealth. Hey, and welcome back to another epic podcast episode. Today, we're tackling a topic that every business needs to confront at some point. That topic, the hard truth, when you're the problem in your business. Now, let's be honest, we all like to think at some stage in our business that we have the answers, that our vision is clear, and that our decisions are sound. But what happens when you realize that the biggest obstacle to your business's success is you? It's a tough pill to swallow, but I'm here to tell you recognizing this is the first step toward real transformative change. And that's why I'm thrilled today to have my guest on the show, Sandra Senn, who is obviously someone too who has faced this particular challenge head on, but she's also an accomplished entrepreneur, seasoned business leader, and an advocate for honest self-reflection. So this episode is packed with valuable lessons for anyone looking to run their business with integrity and to drive their business forward, even when the hard truth points back at them. So let's get ready to rumble and dive into this epic episode on the hard truth when you're the problem in your business. Hey, welcome to the show, Sandra.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my goodness, super excited to have you here today. I mean, we both love the color pink, which is great. We also both love the word fuck, which is even better. Do you know what I mean? And today we get to share a really cool podcast episode where we're going to really be tapping into like when we are the problem within our business. But before we get chatting into this amazing topic today, can you share with the audience a little bit about what you do? What do you get up to for your business?
So I am the proud owner of Business Mums Hub. So we are a training platform for mums in business where we help them start, scale, and grow their business. So that's the real polished versions. But a lot of the times I'm really just an ass kicker that has kept mums out of their own heads and to realize that, you know, they get to follow their dreams and wanting to start businesses and being in business doesn't make you a bad mum. And that at the end of the day, we're all a little bit of a shit show.
Mm-hmm. Amen. I mean, we're all a little bit of a hot mess this week at time of recording. I'm moving house, I'm juggling kids, juggling medication, the variety, like everything can be a hot mess on any given day, you know, but there are so many lessons that can come from that. And I know today when we were going back and forth on particular podcast topics, you had actually suggested this topic about how as business owners can be the problem in our business. And I'm like, this sounds good. This sounds juicy. I'm a little bit excited to really dig in and explore this. So let's just start off. I'm curious to know, was there a moment when you realized you might be the problem in your business?
I think there was many moments I was the problem in my business.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of times, probably the biggest red flag is that I couldn't keep staff.
Uh-huh.
And when you can't keep staff, that's a pretty good indicator that it can't be everybody else that it should probably be. And for me, it wasn't necessarily that I was a bad person. I was just a train wreck. So I do have ADHD. And so, but I'm that very doing 50 million things at once and none of them are done properly. That is genuinely me, unless I'm hyper-focused and then hell itself could open in front of me and I wouldn't stop doing it.
I totally understand. Yes.
Absolutely. And so for me, it was where I couldn't keep staff and I realized that the problem was genuinely me. I mean, I probably had picked the wrong staff, which obviously, again, was another problem with me, but that I wasn't supporting people around me enough and that I was leaving sort of a trail of destruction in my way and then being upset with the people I had hired to fix it when it wasn't really their mess in the first place. It was me.
Mm-hmm. And when you and what was like the breaking point? Like, when do you like, oh shit's got to change. I've got to, I'm either going to have to, because I'm a firm believer, like whatever you're not changing, you are choosing, and that we need to ultimately take radical responsibility for our lives and our business. And when you're like, something's got to give here, something's got to change. Was there like, were you sitting at your desk where you like, shit, okay, I've fired all these people, or these people have left me, like, and where you're just like, and how did you know, like how did you innately know that like something's got to give here? Really, was it just like, say for example, customer service was down, or you were leaving things on the table, or you forgot your kid at school? Who knows? Was there like that pivotal moment where you're like, we're changing shit, sister?
There was a lot of leaving kids at schools, that's for sure. Not like that. I guess for me, it was, ironically enough, I think it was when I tried to have a conversation with my mum. This is probably the weirdest way of telling you when I realized this, but this is genuinely what it was for me.
Yeah.
Is I tried to have a conversation with my mum about seeing things from a different point of view. So we had a different point of view on something. And I tried to tell her what it was and to get her to see it from my point of view. And she just couldn't. No matter what I said, she genuinely could not see my point of view. And she wasn't letting herself see my point of view either.
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized that that's what I do. And that didn't necessarily, like, it's my business, it's my way. Like, and so how awful is that for anybody else trying to give you help or trying to live your values or trying to make your business successful? How awful would it be to hear my business, my way?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm hearing from my mum. And that's what I was like, shit, that's what I'm actually doing to everybody else. It's my business, my way. I'm not open to new way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I deal with mums from so many different points of view, different types of brains and different ways of looking at things, that if I didn't try to do that, how could I possibly help them? How could I connect to their needs and provide a service in a way that they were going to be able to understand it? So I think, and I actually probably haven't thought about that particular moment until right here. So this is breaking news for all of us. I actually think that is the moment when I realized my mum was and just could not take on new information, that I probably did that too. And that was what was holding me back.
And that's funny because from an energetic perspective, because I'm very big about energy and like attracts like, that she was just placing the mirror in front of you.
Absolutely.
And it's like, here you go, Sandra, dun, dun, dun. And again, so then you were finally like, now, some people listening might be like, oh, fuck, do you know what I mean? Like, this sucks, this is hard, or do you know what I mean? We get in our heads, for example, and we're like, this is failure, or, I'm failing my business because I'm the root cause of this, but what are your thoughts about failure? I've got my own thoughts, but I'm curious to hear about what your thoughts are when we think about failure.
I am the biggest fan of failure, and anyone who's been really successful in business will tell you the same thing. But my personal experience with failure was after having my daughter, so my first child, Murphy, and I was very, very sick with postnatal depression. So I was very, very unwell, and I hid it for a very long time, making myself much worse because ignoring problems doesn't tend to make them better. And so I ignored it for a really long time till it got to the stage where I was suicidal and had my plan of exit, of leaving this world and everything. And I actually ended up fucking it up and failing pretty badly at it. So, I mean, for me, in hindsight of all of that, success would have been a pretty shit thing to happen to me and my family and my daughter and my kids. So when you get that sort of eye-opening reality that failure and success, just sometimes the failure is the best thing that can ever happen to you and redirect you into the right place where you're meant to be and doing what it is you're meant to be doing.
I love it. And thank you again for also being vulnerable and being willing to share about mental health. I'm an ex-mental health clinician of 15 years where I used to diagnose people with schizophrenia, bipolar, autism, etc. And also I've had my own lived experience with anxiety and depression. So though our stories are different, I'm a huge advocate for talking about mental health, especially in the online space, especially as a woman in business, but also if you're a mom, the hats that have to be worn on any given day, and also the decision fatigue that we have. Yeah. Is absolutely enormous. So thank you for also sharing that. I really appreciate that. Okay. Now, obviously, the beauty about us being our own problems in our own business is that we are also the solution. So what are your thoughts about being able to reframe that for those business owners that are out there?
Well, you don't necessarily know what you're doing wrong. So one of the best things that I ever did was align myself with people who would tell me the truth. Like,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times we tend to go to our families, especially with business decisions, go, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Actually the fucking worst people to ever talk to.
Yeah.
Like, because they never want to hurt your feelings, or some of them do want to hurt your feelings and like trash it into the ground. But I like, they're actually, if your business isn't for them, well, getting any advice from them isn't actually going to work. It's probably not even going to be relevant. So I have a really good group of friends, but I survey my members very often. I didn't in the beginning. And when we started doing that, things shifted so much because I was always giving them what I thought they wanted and what I thought was best, but it actually means nothing. It means nothing unless that is what they genuinely want. And so when we got the most feedback from them, that's when our business really started to take off and our engagement went up. And, we just became sort of a real staple in their education and their journey in business, all of those sort of things. Their go-to place, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And when you think back about, obviously, you realize, again, I think we were talking before we hit record about like when you realize that if you give the clients what they want, do you know what I mean? Good things happen, not only for their business growth, but obviously ultimately for your own business growth. So what advice would you give to other business owners who might be the problem in their business? What would you say that they should be looking at or advising them to do?
Look for areas in your business that are not doing very well. So if the product isn't selling, it might be that you're either framing it wrong or it's literally just not what people want. Like, look for areas in your business that aren't selling. I also, one of the biggest things that we talk about in a sort of our center stage, our high level one, is it always has to be about impact, not about money. I see too many women, and a lot of coaches tend to do this. And it's like, get this 6-figure months, get this, and get all of that and all of that sort of stuff. And that stuff's just unattainable from the start. Like, and then you find yourself literally just chasing money to find your happiness. Whereas with impact, and it's really about the impact you want to leave in this world or you want to give to your target audience, the money will always come. And what gets you through the slumps and when the motivation is gone because you've been up all night with the kids and you've got no energy whatsoever, knowing that you can make that impact is what that huge difference is in your business.
Yeah, and what I love that is like, money's just a tool. Money's just a gateway, and most people aren't like, I want X amount of money. They actually want freedom, time freedom, create memories. They want to go with the kids. They want holidays. They want whatever. But the internet has a funny place of always making us think that it's the money when it isn't. And impact can look so different.
I can tell you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I love. So when I had Murphy and I got postnatal depression, my husband was in uni. So my husband's also American. And so he was in uni at the time and I was the only one making money and I was too sick. Like I literally had to quit my job. We had no money. And so we used to live off of, I'm smiling now because it's probably one of the best memories I have. So we used to live off of $1,500 a month and God knows how, because my rent was like $1,100 a month. But end of every month, we never ran out of money. And I can tell you now that my months are around the 40, 50K, I'm not any happier. If you're not happy at 150, like 1,500, 40,000, it actually won't make you happier. You might have a nicer house, but chances are you're just spending more than you ever did. And you probably have less. It's the money doesn't actually make you happy. It's the achievements. And I used to get so much achievement out of making 1,500 do all of that. And now I'm like making all this money. I'm like, where the hell's all my money gone? So that's where the impact makes such a difference.
And impact, again, I think a lot of people don't even look at impact till they're making money. But I think you can make impact in whatever way looks for you, feels good for you, and is alignment for you in your business at a very early stage. But people aren't talking about it. This is why we get along well, is this is something that I talk about very early on when businesses, regardless of if they're in startup, growth, or scale stage. And I also remember one of my favorite books that I talk often about, which is The Go-Giver by Bob Burg and John David Mann, where they talk about the 5 laws of stratospheric success. And they talk about the first law, which is the law of value. And they say your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. And then he talks about the law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. And they talk about the law of influence. Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. The fourth law is the law of authenticity. The most valuable gift you have is to offer yourself. And the fifth law is the law of receptivity. The key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. And I've pretty much followed these principles in both of my businesses over the years. And there are people who have scaled quicker than me, 100%, but they're also no longer around. And I've always been about how can I make impact? How can I make these women that I work with feel seen and feel heard and feel like they're not a transaction, and impact, on various things. And you will become profitable. Anyone I know who leads with impact always will become profitable. It might take a little bit longer, but it happens. But yet it's not something that's being taught. So it's so refreshing to hear the importance of impact, because I think it is essential nowadays more than ever before.
Absolutely. And we've all had coaches that we felt like a transaction. I love the way that you said that you felt like you were just a product, like just literally just money. And I think you have to send me the name of that book, by the way, because I do want to read it. But I just finished The Diaries of a CF or a CEO. And so whilst we listened to the podcast, I actually finally listened to the book. So I'm super dyslexic, so I have to listen to everything. And one of the things that it finished with was one of the things that made me the happiest ever is that being that inconsistent leader. And I actually really love it, because when everyone tells you that you're not consistent and you're not all of that sort of stuff, it feels like such a failing. But I actually think that's probably the key to how to really be so consistent. So in our high level membership, we have 20 members. I do not treat any of those the same, because that's not what they need from me. They all different things. Some of them need very little from me, and they're just there because they don't have that outside group, and they really need that high level group just to be around. And some people need daily kicks in the ass. It's that whole inconsistency and seeing people as actual people, and getting so close to them and knowing their businesses and knowing what makes them tick, that you do genuinely get the best out of them, and they never feel like just a commodity or a transaction or anything at all like that. So I really love that you said that.
And I think that impact, though, also comes from where, if you think about when you onboard your clients, but even before onboarding your clients, how are you treating the people that comment on your social media? How are you treating the people that slide into your DMs? How are you treating emails? How are you treating them right from the beginning? And it's so important, because that also is impact for them, impact for you, impact for the greater world. So again, though we're talking about us being the problem in our business and being able to reflect on that, I also think that this has been a good reminder about where are you making impact in your business, in your life? And if you're not, how can you? Because again, if not, what are you doing? Yeah. Are you just chasing the dollar? Are you chasing the next dopamine hit? And, that's all well and good. But do you still want to be standing in 5 years from now? And I can honestly say that, I've grown slower than some of the other people like Amy Porterfield's and things like that, but I'm still here. Right. I'm still standing, and I think that's important, because I'm here for long term, and I'm here for the end of that connection and that impact. So no, this has been great. So is there any final words or advice that you'd like to give in relation to us being the problem in our business?
The last one that I want to be, and where we can be the problem in our business, is also convincing ourselves of things that we want that we might not necessarily want. So some people don't want to scale to big companies. I had probably one of the most impactful people I ever had say to me, and the whole room, we went around the room at what everybody wants to create, and everyone's like, 100,000 K and blah, 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 this and this and this. And she said, I actually just want to make $50,000, and I want to work 8 hours a week, and I want to spend the rest of that time with my kids. So it's some of the times that we're the problem is we get caught up in all the glitz and the glamour and wanting to do the travel and wanting the big house and wanting all of the things, and sort of getting sucked into that lifestyle instead of sitting with ourselves and being like, what do I want? Do I want it because that's what looks good on camera, or is that what I actually want?
Yep. And I also think that a lot of times, when I'm working with my business owners too, in the masterminds, is that they talk often, we're talking about discomfort.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to sit in discomfort anymore. They want the quick fixes. They want the immediate gratification. But owning a business, you have to get comfortable with being in a discomfortable position. You also have to get comfortable with the grit. And I also think you also have to get comfortable with that. There is times where there'll be hard work in your business. Doesn't mean it's forever. And it doesn't mean that I agree with hustle. But what I'm saying is there is this notion of, and that's different to everyone. And that's the thing, the key there is what hard work looks like to one mom is going to be different to the next woman in business, right? And just being okay with whatever that looks like for you. But discomfort is a big thing. And women don't like to often sit in the discomfort of not knowing what's next, or discomfort of thinking big and maybe having to like totally upheaval their entire business model because it no longer is in alignment with them because they were chasing someone else's dream. So again, discomfort is a big thing. What are your thoughts about the importance of discomfort?
It's everything. So if you had asked me this question last year, I would have just probably started crying and running away, because this time last year, I didn't know what my business was going to look like. So I'd worked under a different coach that had told me how to run my business. So I ended up with her version of my business as opposed to my version of my business running exactly how I wanted to. So if you asked me this question last year, this time last year, I probably would have sat crying. But from that, being incredibly uncomfortable, feeling really lost, I got down to, what is it I fucking want? And that's where I built the business that everywhere is a joy to show up to. I feel like I've gone to a whole new level. Getting customers is so much easier because I know what it is like, and I can sell it with my true heart and confidence and belief in what I've got, because it is mine, because I sat and I went through that really uncomfortable stage, and it is fucking awful. Like, it really is awful. It hurts you. But it's like that you have to do it to get to that next level. You just have to. If you're too busy, you cannot grow your business. And I absolutely 100% believe with you. There is a time for hustle. There absolutely is a time for hustle. And balance is so bullshit because it's so different to everybody else. And we should be not chasing balance. We should be chasing happiness. If you're happy, you probably have balance. If you don't, you probably don't. But that's sitting and be quiet is one of the best things you'll ever do, which is very hard for an ADHD Irish person. But if I can do it, anybody can.
100%. And funnily enough, I mean, that's why we're now starting to run silent retreats, right? The notion of being able to sit in silence for 4 days is a gift that many don't have. And someone who's got Florida ADHD, trust me, 4 days is my limit. I don't think I could do 10, but 4 definitely. That's why we're doing 4. And what will come from that is amazing. You see clearer, you hear clearer, you taste better, like everything is better because you've completely shut off all the other noise. And regardless if you're going to go on a silent retreat or whatever, just being able to sit, not only in discomfort, but being able to sit in silence and truly start to understand and prioritize what it is that you want versus what the internet is telling you. Magic happens, gold happens, evolutions happen, but most people won't do that. And so again, I encourage you to think about how you might be able to carve out space to be able to do that. Well, it is clear, my friend, that we could keep talking for hours, I would say, which means we'll have to meet up in person one of these days. But for now, where can listeners who are wanting to connect with you, where can they find you?
So I'm on all of the platforms, but if you really want to connect with me, you will find me on Instagram, which is where I tend to hang out. So at Business Mums Hub, you will find us there. I'm always up for a chat. So please always slide into my DMs or comment on the things, because it's very hard to shut me up. To either switch me off or shut me up. Both things are very hard.
Oh, I love it. Now, my final question for you is, looking back on your business journey, what do you know now that you wish you knew when you first started out in business?
Calm the fuck down. Like, calm down. When I first started on Instagram and stuff like that, I would be filtered, ridiculous filters. We would always have makeup on. We would always have these things, and we would over plan everything, and we would do all that stuff. Just calm the fuck down, because it will work out at its pace. Show up what you're comfortable with. And it is that whole, when you take, nothing ever good comes out of a really stressful, high situation. So just calm down, take a deep breath, and then you'll just go with the flow and you'll figure it out.
100%. I also believe that we're all right on time. We're all exactly where we need to be. And often we will try and maneuver and manipulate and, fit these things into a square peg, do you know what I mean? And it's a circle peg, and just, calm down, right? The world is working for you if you allow it to work for you. It works in magic, But again, often we don't want to just allow it to happen. We want to be able to have control. We want to screw things up, do you know what I mean? And I
also recommend you lean into your neurodiversity. So I'm dyslexic, which I thought was the worst thing in the world. world, but we're actually the world problem solvers. We see the world so different. So lean into that. If you're ADHD, lean into that. Find out where your skills is, because ADHD is so different for everyone. Find out where your gold is in that, and then lean into that. So most, was it 70% of business owners are neurodiverse? Like, so there's a huge chance that you've got it if you're listening. So like, lean into it, because it will be a superpower in some way to you, without sounding like a massive cliche, but it will be.
100%. You know, someone who has it, I absolutely adore the ADHD. There's no way that I would be where I am without it. You know, there's no way. It's those stages of hyper focus that can get shit done in an hour, what would take most people a week to get done. You know, it's an actually truly amazing gift if you learn to lean into it and learn to embrace it, you know, but that's going to come at your own time and your own pace. Yes. So now, well, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for this. And we will make sure to include all of your links in your bio and everything like that over on our show notes at angelahenderson.com.au. So have a beautiful day. Thank you for taking the time out to be here today, Sandra. And for you, you amazing listener, I too hope you have a beautiful day no matter where you are in the world. And I look forward to you joining me again for another awesome episode of the Angela Henderson Online Business Show. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to the Angela Henderson Online Business Show, www.angelahenderson.com.au.